Lunch Break for Nurses Podcast. Episode 10. The Strike Dilemma. What the data actually shows. On point today, we're tackling the elephant in the room, nursing strikes. We hear the rhetoric on the news. Hospitals call them dangerous. Unions call them a necessity for safety. But today, we're looking past the picket signs and into the peer-reviewed data. Does care actually suffer when we walk out? Let's look at the evidence. The shock study, Gruber and Kleiner. If you've ever seen a headline claiming strikes kill patients, it likely comes from one specific massive study. Published by the National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, and often cited in journals like JAMA, researchers Jonathan Gruber and Samuel Kleiner looked at 20 years of data from New York State. The findings. Mortality. They found that in-hospital mortality increased by 19.4% during strikes. Readmissions. 30-day readmission rates went up by about 6.5%. The why? Interestingly, it wasn't because the hospitals were doing less. The intensity of care, number of procedures, stayed the same. The researchers concluded the drop in quality came from a loss of hospital productivity and because the replacement nurses, scabs, lack of unit-specific knowledge. Basically, the study suggests that even if you bring in a travel nurse, they don't know things like where the crash cart is. They don't know the specific quirks of that unit's surgeons, and that friction costs lives. It's a sobering statistic often used by management during negotiations. The modern counter-evidence. The 2022 meta-analysis. But wait, don't put your picket signs away just yet. Science evolves. In 2022, a major systematic review and meta-analysis was published in BMJ Open and the Journal of Advanced Nursing. Researchers looked at over 1.8 million patient interactions globally. The findings. Neutral impact. Unlike the NY study, this meta-analysis found no clear link between strikes and increased mortality across the board. Morbidity. A separate review in the Journal of Health Services Research found that strike action had a neutral or mixed impact on patient morbidity, illness, complications. The protective factor. Why the difference? The researchers found that most modern strikes are planned. Hospitals stop elective surgeries and divert non-emergencies. In many cases, the patient-to-nurse ratio for the patients who remain is actually better than it is on a normal, short-staffed Tuesday. The harm of staying. The nursing perspective. We can't talk about the harm of striking without talking about the harm of staying. A famous study by Linda Aiken in JAMA is the gold standard here. She found that for every one extra patient added to a nurse's workload, the likelihood of a patient dying within 30 days increases by 7%. This is the core of the ethical argument. Nurses argue, yes, a 3-day strike is disruptive, but a 365-day year of unsafe staffing is a permanent strike against patient safety. The journal suggests that while a strike might cause a temporary blip in mortality, chronic understaffing is a slow-motion disaster that the data proves is lethal. Summary and takeaway. So, what's the verdict for this lunch break? Preparation is everything. Studies show that when strikes are planned and elective cases are canceled, patients generally fare fine. Replacement issues. The Gruber study reminds us that nursing isn't just a task, it's institutional knowledge. Replacing a veteran staff nurse with a temporary fix has measurable risks. The long game. Modern research suggests the narrow framing of strikes as harmful ignores the long-term benefits. If a strike leads to better ratios, it actually saves more lives over the next decade than were ever at risk during the 3 days of the walkout. Thanks for listening to Lunch Break. Institutional knowledge matters. Experience matters. Teamwork matters. Culture matters. Stay safe out there. Look out for your ratios and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.